Good afternoon and welcome to the very first episode of Clean Slate, a show here on Rebel Sports Network where we'll be discussing the weekly slate of NFL games. I'm Gabriel Goddard, joined by Ansley Pavicic and Marcus Bray. Guys, let's jump right into it. The Vikings and the Steelers traveled to Ireland for the very first NFL game ever played on Irish soil, where the Steelers were able to take a 24-21 victory over the Vikings. And what did you guys think about that game? Obviously, Aaron Rodgers had that 80-yard touchdown rip to DK Metcalf. The Steelers' defense is starting to bounce back. They had 6 sacks and 2 picks. How are these teams looking?
I mean, of course, that 81-yard touchdown to DK Metcalf, highlight of the game, maybe highlight of the week. It's not easy to bring that man down. 6'4", fast as hell. I mean, he can do anything. But the big story is the Vikings. They're playing 2 games in Europe, first in Ireland, then in London. We saw the Browns, not a great team last year, pull off a win in their second week after losing to the Patriots in the first, another bad team. We could see the Vikings do the same against the Browns in week 5.
I think it was a very completed game by the Steelers on both sides of the ball. Obviously, DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers still looks like he still got it. On defense, Deshaun Elliott coming back, setting the tone with that 1 pick and 1 sack.
Yeah.
Obviously, Minnesota seemed like they were trying to come back. However, that intentional grounding by Carson Wentz was a huge problem for them to come back and eventually handed the Steelers the win.
And interesting tidbit, of all the international games the Vikings have ever played, this was the first loss they've taken on overseas. But moving on, guys, what about that Chargers-Giants game? Jackson Dart making his NFL debut and coming out and getting a win over really good at then 3-0 Chargers. He was looking good. His offensive line did give up those 5 sacks, but when they were able to hold themselves together, he was able to use his legs, manipulate the blitz. He was looking good.
Yeah, obviously, Jackson Dart, what a good start to his NFL career. I mean, you make your first start against what is a very good Chargers defense, and then as you said, they held, when their O-line held it together, he used his feet, made great passes. Even their running back Cam Scatterbo was great for them as well. What a great win by the Giants, giving them their first loss.
I mean, that is not an ideal situation for any rookie quarterback to be placed in. You were facing a 3-0 Chargers team. That is not the situation. But they were missing Khalil Mack. So seeing those 5 sacks given up by the Giants is a bit of a red flag. But Jackson Dart stayed calm, composed, didn't have the craziest game on the stat sheet, but he was able to get the ball where it needed to. Unfortunately, Malik Neighbors with the injury, that'll be a crucial loss for the Giants.
Yeah.
But they're going to look forward to stacking those wins, build some momentum, and see if they can make something out of the season.
And despite them losing Malik for the season, Cam Scatterbo has really etched his name into what I think is a really exciting offensive rookie of the year race. Obviously, you got Ibuka over in Tampa Bay, but Cam Scatterbo, 25 rushes, 79 yards. It doesn't look sexy on the stat sheet, but that man is just an absolute animal. You know, just he does not go down on the first hit, and I think he'll be exciting to watch for years to come.
Yeah, and he's electric to watch. The energy he plays with, I mean, he plays with his head. He runs head forward into the guy. He doesn't care how hard he gets hit. He's going to run through you no matter what.
Yeah. Moving on, guys, what about that Ravens-Chiefs game? The Ravens are now 1-3 after losing 20-37 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And really the question that I'm thinking, you know, the Ravens are supposed to be this elite tier team in the NFL, one of the top, one of the best. You know, Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, is one of the arguably the best quarterbacks in the league. Why are they 1-3? You know, are they starting to unravel a little bit? I know they're missing 6 starters on the defense, but this really poses the question of, are the Ravens a fraud franchise this year?
Well, I think that's really hard to tell. As you said, they're missing 6 key pieces. However, their defense has not been holding up. I mean, just looking at the stats, they've allowed over 33 points per game, which is last in the NFL, and then over 400 yards per game, which is 31st in the NFL. I mean, this is not up to par Ravens physical defense. I mean, you've seen it multiple times. They've had they've had 2 leads that have been blown, as obviously you noted. The first game of Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills, and then you saw it in their Monday night loss against Detroit. I mean, they got to figure out fast if they want to even make the wild card.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens are led by multi-time MVP Lamar Jackson. But you look at these teams that they lost to. One loss against the Bills in Week 1, and then to the Lions, and then to the Chiefs. These are all Super Bowl contending teams. But these are also games you have to win if you want to make it to the Super Bowl. And they're just games they're not winning. And now with Lamar going down, this season could derail. And all these aging superstars they have on defense could unravel. And this team could just dive bomb like we saw the Titans do a couple years ago.
Right. And the AFC North, that's a very competitive division in the NFL. Everyone preseason was just tossing it up to the Ravens. They're expecting the Ravens to take the North, but it should be a much more exciting race than people thought it was going to be this year. The Steelers are sitting at 3-1, Ravens at the opposite 1-3. You got the Bengals at 2-2. The AFC North really is up for grabs. And Let's bring it back home here, guys, where the Chicago Bears just scraped by the Las Vegas Raiders here at Allegiant Stadium, 25-24, off that crazy game-winning field goal block by Josh Blackwell.
I mean, that block, it never has to happen. As a special teams coach, you're preaching to your guys. You got to give your kicker the protection he needs, because if you start having block kicks, the kicker loses protection in his unit. But the big thing with that was Colton Miller, the starting left tackle, Pro Bowler multiple times. He got hurt just before that kick, and now you're sending someone who hasn't practiced much with that unit, sending them out, moving guys around, and that led to some guy coming off free off the edge and blocking the kick.
Yeah, obviously not the win the Raiders would have wanted. Once again, Geno Smith having 3 interceptions. You just can't have that. And plus, you ruined honestly one of the first big games from Ashton Genty. It's just, I don't even know how to phrase it, just a bad loss for the Raiders.
And despite that subpar Geno Smith performance, the Raiders really had a chance to win this game. And it really all came down to that field goal block. Speaking of exciting field goals, let's talk about that probably game of the week where Packers went to Dallas, Micah Parsons' revenge game, tied 40-40, the second highest scoring tie in NFL history, only behind a 43-43 game in 1964 between the Oakland Raiders and the Boston Patriots. What were we thinking about that game, guys?
I mean, absolutely. That was an absolute thriller. Went to overtime. 80 points total, absolutely smashed the over. But you gotta look at it. These are two teams that are now looking like two of the top 3 teams in the NFC, behind the Eagles and Lions. These are teams that want to compete. The Packers came out stunned everybody with how good their defense was. Wasn't quite able to slow down the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have been in shootouts game after game. That offense led under Dak Prescott, who is now fully healthy, looks better than ever.
That's right, man. What an exciting game. A return that I think Parsons would have probably wanted to get out with a win. However, mentioned Dak Prescott balled out tonight. George Pickens, what a great pickup that from your favorite team, the Steelers, have been. But the problem is not only that, clock management for the Packers. Why are you snapping the ball with like 6 seconds left? But at the same time going for the touchdown. I understand it's OT, but honestly, what a great game that was.
Another game that's definitely on my radar that I'll be looking forward to is the Texans traveling to Baltimore to face the Ravens. 2 teams that are both 1-3, that both feel that they're better than 1-3, that have something to prove. I feel like this needs to be a Lamar Jackson statement game. He needs to go out there, use his legs, and throw that ball. Derrick Henry needs to hang on to that ball to get this win, because both teams are going to be hungry. They both feel like they're better than 1-3.
The thing with the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson is he had that injury in the game. Right now, he is doubtful to play for Week 5, but they're going to need him absolutely for that game. But against a Texans team with C.J. Stroud, gets their first win in a dominant shutout against the Titans. I think the Texans could stack momentum here and take a win against a hurt Baltimore team and put Baltimore in some very questionable situations.
Right. I think the Ravens, they should come out with a lot of hunger, as the Texans would want to too, but at the same time, as you said before, the AFC North is a competitive conference. So the Ravens, even though if Lamar Jackson is playing or if he's not, you need players to step up. You need obviously Derrick Henry to step up and have a monster game. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews come through and get the Ravens the win.
Another game that I'm looking forward to, guys, is the Broncos going up to Philadelphia. A 2-2 team against a 4-0 team. Everyone knows that the Broncos are going to be underdogs in this game, but the Broncos have found an identity in defense. And, obviously the Philadelphia Eagles rushing offense is very good. The Broncos will be looking to stop that tush push, to stop those inside handoffs to Saquon Barkley that always seem to bounce for 10, 15, 20 yards. But what do we think is going to happen up in Philadelphia?
I think the Eagles, they need to figure out how to get Saquon going. I mean, this is not the Saquon we were used to last year when they won the Super Bowl. Also, get A.J. Brown some more touches. I mean, you saw him on Instagram, talking about, let's not make a scene, but at the same time, he's probably going to use that as momentum. If the Broncos have a good rushing defense, you need to get him and other wide receivers going.
A.J. Brown, no stranger to the drama. Not the first time he's done this. However, you got PS2 on the other side. Shut down corner.
Right.
He could follow A.J. Brown, or we could see him bounce between Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. An Eagles offense that has lacked the ability to throw the ball well. I could see a low-scoring game here between these two, but the Eagles will pull it out.
Probably no reading any books on the sideline for AJ Brown this time. Excuse me. Last game I want to talk about, guys, this Monday Night Football game, Kansas City going to Jacksonville, which again seems like on paper it should be a mismatch, but Kansas City got off to that slow start, that 0-2 start to start this year. They just beat a very elite Baltimore team to kind of bounce back. But this Jacksonville Jaguars team is on the uprise. Travis Hunter has been getting less involved, but I imagine in a prime time Monday Night Football game like this, the stars are going to shine, and he's obviously one of the biggest stars down in Jacksonville.
Absolutely. The Chiefs got that crucial win against Baltimore, and like I said earlier, those are teams you need to beat if you want to be a Super Bowl contender. And this is a Jacksonville team they cannot lose to. If you lose to this team, that win you just got against Baltimore, it was for nothing. They need to win here, and they're going to have to pull it out, trusting on their passing attack. They just got Xavier Worthy back. Great game. They're going to rely on that, and they're going to pull it out.
That's right. I think Jacksonville, they need to get Travis Hunter involved. And also you saw how important he was when they won against the 49ers. Obviously Kansas City, they've been getting key pieces back with obviously Xavier Worthy. So it seems like they could be forming momentum. Both teams have momentum going into this game, but I feel like if we saw what we saw against Baltimore, I think Kansas City could pull it out.
Yeah, guys. Well, that's about all the time we have this week for this episode of Clean Slate. Be sure to tune in every Saturday where we will be uploading our weekly episodes here on Rebel Sports Network. Once again, I'm Gabriel Goddard, joined by Ansley Pavicic and Marcus Bray. We'll see you guys next week.